Now that we've talked about the toxic issues that this problem causes for women, I'm going to talk about why churches teaching that men who aren't married, a father, a husband, providing solely for his family isn't a godly man or a decent, moral man. So the idea that all men are the sole providers and that they alone bring in the greatest percentage or the entire percentage of the financial, economical coverage of whatever is needed to pay the bills. And that's different for every state, region, and quality of life. The problem with saying all men is there's going to be a lot of situations out there where the man can't contribute anything. What about people with disabilities, injuries? Maybe they were in an accident, maybe an accident on the job or behind the wheel. Saying that all men should do something or not do something is very dehumanizing, because not all men want to be the sole provider or have a passion for a career that can realistically cover everything or the majority. I mean, there are careers out there that won't give you $50,000 a year. There are circumstances where no matter how much he works or whoever works can ever pay all the bills due to loans, maybe they lost their home, maybe they paid for a funeral. There's so many components that to say a man can 100% or majorly provide for his family is so outdated and archaic. I mean, it goes way back to when Christianity or even religion was birthed. And I've watched many movies that focus on men staying home or doing jobs that are very iconically or socially viewed as dominated by a specific sex. Kind of like being a nurse, a caregiver, or being a physical therapist. Most people who think of those jobs immediately think of a woman. I've worked in the medical field, and I don't see gender when I think of jobs. I just think of qualified individuals. If you haven't seen the 1983 movie, or I call it a comedy, Mr. Mom, where Michael Keaton plays an auto executive who becomes a stay-at-home father after being fired and having his wife take over as the primary or only breadwinner, it's a very interesting change of the stereotypical 20th century gender roles. The idea of a man staying home part-time or full-time due to any reason is, in the churches I grew up in, was very, very looked down on. If a man wasn't providing solely or 50% for his family, he was considered worse than an infidel. The problem is, what if there are people that, no fault of their own, can't stand and work, or for a time, or for several years, they can't find employment, or perhaps they don't know what career they want to do, so it might take a year or two to figure that out. Are they viewed less of a man because they're going through a big change in their life? In the Southern Baptist churches I grew up in, very much so. There's always a underlying current of disdain for anyone who isn't in a heterosexual, monogamous, sterile, boring as hell relationship. And I mean, you can be heterosexual, you can be married and have a exciting, interesting, adventurous relationship. I'm talking about the kind of relationship where you wonder if they have a pulse. Like, really boring. And that's really what couples were like in these churches. I mean, if I had to type out what people did every week, I'd fall asleep. That's how boring. Like,